Welcome back to the Stories of Northern Life podcast, brought to you by the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'm bringing you our last true crime case in this series. So once again, I want to warn you that we will be discussing subjects that may be disturbing or triggering to some listeners. We will be discussing murder, assault, violence, and rape. Listener discretion is advised. How many of you have heard of Theresa DeCourcy or her murder? I myself have never really heard about this case, other than it took a very long time to solve. But it is one of the most notorious cases in our city's history, and her murder spread fear throughout the city. The Sault Star has given me an excellent chronology of the case. So, we start on Friday, October 19th, 1945. Remember that World War II had only just ended on September 2nd, 1945. The Sault Star reported that the body of 18-year-old Theresa DeCourcy was found that morning at 10:29 a.m., 120 feet north of the CPR tracks between Tankard and Bruce. Theresa is the daughter of Ernest and Florence DeCourcy and was a student at the technical school, or the Tech. She was on her way to the dance on Thursday, October 18th, but never made it. She left home around 9 p.m. Her parents began looking for her later that evening when she never returned home. They called around to her friend's home, but found that she had never attended the dance. By 10 a.m. the next morning, they called the police. Theresa was found by two students, John and Bruno, who were looking behind the school when they learned she was missing. They found scuffle and drag marks and followed them to her body, which was hidden away from the tracks in a bush. The police, assisted by the Provincial Police Detachment, cordoned off the area and began looking for evidence. The police reported that it appeared as though she was strangled, and they said the suspect was, quote, a sex maniac. The city was gripped by a series of assaults that had been going on for over a year. These assaults were sexual assaults and rapes. Some of them led to arrests, but of the dozens of cases that were brought to trial, only one or two actually led to a conviction. In fact, earlier in the evening, around 7 p.m. on Thursday, before Theresa was attacked, two women were walking to their church for choir practice and were attacked by a man, but they were able to scare him off. This was in the same area as Theresa's attack. The police therefore thought it was likely that it was the same suspect. They were interviewing the women and reporting to the public on Saturday, October 20th, that a break was possible. They were offering a $500 reward for information that led to an arrest. By Monday, the police were saying they were looking at a new angle, as the link between the two previous attacks led nowhere. Over the weekend, a woman was attacked outside her home and was able to scare off the suspect. The police began to look at this possible connection. Theresa's funeral was held on the Monday and was attended by hundreds from all across the city. It was clearly evident that she was loved by many. On Tuesday, October 23rd, 1945, a threatening note was thrown through the window of the woman who was attacked. The note read, "Don't identify, I kill." This fueled police's theory that the two were linked. The city was full of rumors of attacks and murders as fear spread. Police continually had to put out statements asking the public to not spread, quote, crazy rumors, as they had to trace down each report, and it was hampering Theresa's investigation. City Council also began to talk about forming an auxiliary police force to help with the growing crime and fear. They brought up the discussion of streetlights, as many streets were poorly lit and perfect for attacks. They wanted to help improve public safety. There was a drop in people going out at night. Many teen events were canceled, and women who had late shifts had to be escorted to and from work by family. And women were not going out to restaurants and other establishments due to fear of being out after dark. The OPP commissioner made a statement that he was happy with the police investigation and how it was progressing, and he even said that he had a few officers helping out. The Canadian Legion also posted a $500 reward for information leading to an arrest. By Thursday, they were reporting that witnesses came forward saying Theresa was seen behind the school talking to a dark-haired, 6-foot man in a soldier's uniform. This lined up with a piece of evidence. The police found a military lanyard that was ripped off a uniform during the murder and was found near Theresa's body. There was now witnesses to say she reached the school. By the following Friday, the police had no new leads or progress in the case. People were frustrated, and her case, now only a week old, moved off the front page news. This was the beginning of her case becoming lost. November 8th, the police let the public know they were still working on the case. The case was in its 4th week and no progress. December 22nd, 1945, the Sioux Star was reporting that the OPP were looking at a connection between Theresa's murder and that of a woman in Ajax. Audrey Lyons, 23, was strangled on November 10th, 1945. The cases were similar, and so they wanted to explore any possible connection, but to no avail. July 23rd, 1946. City Council was talking about formally asking the OPP to help with Theresa's case and the other assaults that were going on. Some felt that this indicated a lack of confidence in the local police. This was also the last time we would hear of Theresa's case for many years. In 1996, an anniversary piece was done on the Sioux police, and they mentioned Theresa's case, saying it was the only unsolved murder they ever had. But on August 21st, 1992, the police finally made an arrest, 47 years after Theresa was murdered. It was said to be one for the record books as the longest unsolved murder case that was finally closed. 71-year-old Michael Leslie Hodgson was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Police said they received a tip after a police week in Espanola, May 1991. The tip led nowhere, but the case was now reopened, and with fresh eyes, the police were led to Hodgson. He was an original suspect in 1945, but they did not have enough evidence at the time to make an arrest. The preliminary hearing was set for January, and of the 24 witnesses they had in 1945, only about 3 remained. Hodgson was in the Plummer Memorial awaiting a transfer to a nursing home. He was able to live a full life, get married, have kids, all the things he deprived Theresa DeCourcy of. Hodgson did not appear to be a good man. He had convictions and allegations of rape, sexual assault, and domestic violence. The Sioux Star put out a series of articles asking for help in tracking down witnesses that could help the trial. This actually led to one of the witnesses being found, but they were still searching for the other. The police also had the rope that was used to strangle Theresa in evidence for 47 years, and they sent that away to the Center of Forensic Science for testing. Whether any results were obtained, whether it had Theresa's DNA or the suspect's DNA, that I don't know if we'll ever know. But during the preliminary hearing that started on January 28, 1993, Judge Greco focused on the confession from Hodgson obtained by police in August 1992. Judge Greco dismissed the confession as it was improperly obtained. Chief of Police King said that he attempted to get a signed and sworn affidavit from Hodgson in case he died before the trial, and in an attempt to rid the idea of any inducements from Hodgson's mind. But with the confession thrown out, it seems so was the trial. Then, on August 8th, 1993, Hodgson died. Although he never went to trial, we can say the case was finally solved, and the family hopefully found a little bit of peace. So that is the murder of Theresa DeCourcy, but we must not forget that she was a young woman, only 18. She was a devout parishioner of St. Ignatius Church, a member of the Catholic Youth Organization of Blessed Sacrament Parish, and it seemed she was truly loved by all. That is all for today. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for listening. Bye.
Did you know you can get unlimited admission to the Sault Ste. Marie Museum for a whole year for just $15? Yep, that's right, and there's more perks to that too. Go to Sault Museum, that's SAULT, museum.ca, under Visit, and learn more about our membership options. And if you're a business, corporate or nonprofit, we have plans for you too. Reach out to us by emailing info@saultmuseum.ca with any inquiries.
Hi, I'm J.L. Fizzell, and I write and publish poetry inspired by nature and the art of being human. These are some of my words. The poem I'm about to read for you is from my third book, North of Dreams, and it's about finding the light in the darkness. It's called Bittersweet Sun. Sunsets are enchanting and bittersweet because you know what you're losing. You bid your goodbyes to the brightness while darkness waits on the other side, along with all its mysteries that hide there. But nonetheless, we are ever thankful for the magic of stars in the morning of the moon while the sun hides away, so that others might shine for a bit. A million faraway suns reminding you that there is always light, even when yours disappears. I hope that this poem took you somewhere inside yourself that you needed to go. You can listen to my story here on the Stories of Northern Life podcast. The links are in the show notes.